everyone, it's Lennon, and welcome back to Art and Archetypes. I'm so excited because I found so much information out about this archetype, which is the Sage. Now, the Sage goes by many names. It could be the Thinker, the Philosopher, the Wisdom Keeper, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it the Sage because that just sounds, I guess that name meets my aesthetic, I guess you could say. I've got a whole bunch of paper materials out because as the Sage is knowledge driven, I kind of wanted to make this whole page look kind of library-esque, knowledge-esque, stuff like that. So we'll see. I've even ripped out like some pages out of like some old like books that I don't read. So, and I actually, like, right before filming, I had sketched out the Rodin sculpture of the Thinker because I just feel like that really embodied the information that I was able to gain from this archetype. And so I just like roughly, I mean, I know it looks like crap, but I roughly sketched him out because he just belonged right here in the art journal as part of the Sage archetype manifestation I got going. I got a little bitty bottle of Mod Podge here that I like to use in my art journals because I just feel like it's a better glue than Elmer's glue, and it's not as, I know some glues like buckle like Elmer's does, and I just don't like that effect that the school, you know, Elmer's glue used to do, like when I used to do projects, and how like where the glue was, it would just like buckle, and I just did not like that. So I use Mod Podge because to me it's a better quality glue. And I'm just gonna like glue him right here at the bottom corner because, as you know, I like to kind of split up the pages here to represent different things along the page. And I think I want to put some information around here. Maybe I'll put the quote, like the Thinker sculpture is thinking this quote. I thought that would be a little cool, like, So we shall see. I'm going to use green for the title. And I kind of wanted to make this look like this was like a John Hancock. Like someone signed their name, which would be Sage, like something that you would like tear off of a document. And that's why I liked this particular book page, because it kind of looked tea stained because it's really old. So it's just like this, like that. And I don't really care if it's legible. I just wanted it to kind of look like an old-timey signature. So I'm going to try to make it look like the word Sage, but also someone's signature. And I guess you have to kind of go really fast to where it would be like chicken scratch-ish. Is that a word? There. I guess that works out. So I'm going to glue this. Now I like to put the title because I don't know what it is, but it may just be the fact that I like things to, even if I don't like it to be specifically organized, I still like there to be some sort of measurement involved with the way I lay out my pages, and especially this particular art journal. And I like the titles to be at the top because I just feel like that's where they should go. And I just tend to always put titles up at the top. So this is like the Sage's John Hancock there. I imagine this to be very Gandalf-like Dumbledore-esque. Like, how would Dumbledore write his name? Would it just be like, would it be legible? Or would he like take his time because I feel like he's a very patient person. I don't know. So anyways, let's see. Now, I guess I'm going to start here because I like to end with a quote. Now, I was going to do this, like I said, as a knowledge thing because the Sage is very knowledge driven. So I was going to do something fun with this, which is the motto. And I was gonna make this out to be like, what do you call those? Like a search engine bar. I think those are so cool. Like, I just did this lightly around the edge. You know how it's not a perfect square. And then there's a little cursor here. And then a little bitty magnifying glass that you would hit once you're done. Cool. That worked out better than I thought. And see, the font in computers is black, so I guess I'd have to use black for it to look, I guess, look real. And then I'm gonna try to, I guess, use the same kind of font that a computer would, like Google would. The truth is a W like this or with points? Will set you free. That, let's use a different color to write motto. Actually, let's glue him down. I love to use my fingers with this. It just feels there's something very magical about using my fingers for the glue. Something very inner child satisfying. Ooh, I like that. And then just write motto for the sage. Because again, for some reason I like the motto to be underneath the title. I just feel like that's just like how it's supposed to look. Okay, so the truth will set you free. What does that mean? To me, the sage is someone, like I said before, knowledge driven. They have to find the truth therein. If there is truth to be had, excuse me, they have to find it. It's like their ultimate quest is to just keep finding all the truths. And I think that they are not so much just knowledge driven, but it's facts driven. Like, I think that if ever something comes up in the sage's life, in this archetype's journey, I guess, because I don't want to say life, because I feel like these archetypes live within all of us, and the way that they're presented here in like this art journal, like my experience with archetypes and things like that, is that there's bare bones, like their characteristics, their mottos, their fears, their shadows, and all that come from a place that Jung describes as the collective unconscious. Like, when we think of the sage, it's basically just a manifestation of our subconscious archetypes. So I'm not an old man. I'm not a Gandalf looking figure. However, this old man, sage, wisdom, knowledge driven, advice giving being lives deep down in my subconscious, along with all the rest of the humans that had, and we're all joined by this collective unconscious. So I feel like that's how archetypes work. So I don't want to say life, but in the sage's journey, I'll say that if things come about to where they would possibly need information about something, they would have to have as much information as possible. Now, I have my own theories about this. I feel like data in and of itself is unconquerable. I feel like when we think we don't have all the data, we really do. Because there's absolutely no way we could have all the data. Because it's just an unconquerable feat. And I think that that's a little where the sage could veer off into the darkness, is with that alone. Just like going on this seemingly endless quest for facts and knowledge and wisdom, I guess, to an extent. However, having been on this journey for so long, and that being what the archetype's main makeup is, we value the archetypes for their ability to search the truth out. So I think that the truth will set you free is a fabulous motto for this archetype. I used, like, this beautiful paper was made, and like it was a letter, like an old letter, and I've kept the parts that had words from a friend of mine, actually here on YouTube. So hi, you know who you are. And I think they made this paper, but it's so beautiful I had to use it. Like, I had to actually use it in crafts. Like, I'm sorry, but I did keep the words. I just cut up the stuff that didn't have words. So I want to use something like this, maybe. This is actually something specific. Actually, you know what? Let's do that first, because I want to be able to have I want to be able to see what kind of room I have. I've decided, or I had decided, to make this envelope to hold the shadow, or what could be the potential shadows of the Sage archetype inside. Like, it's hidden knowledge, you know, and we have to pull out the shadow, much like we would anyway, of this archetype through the envelope. Like I said, I really wanted this to look like, you know, kind of like rustic and old library-esque. So I just made like a very easy template of a envelope, and I'll probably use the bottom of this for the pull-out card. And then we just fold along the dotted lines. I used to love, I love making these for like my books of shadows and things like that, to hold cutesy messages. I just love it. And there's something so arcane about keeping things in envelopes. And this is not measured. Like, usually I measure them out, and they'll be like really straight lines, and see how that's kind of wonky, but I don't care. I don't care. I like it like this. The trick with making these types of envelopes is not to glue the whole thing together. Like, it has to have a pocket. So usually I would put like some parchment paper, some wax paper in here, so that as I let it dry, the pocket would stay a pocket. But for this, I'm just gonna go with it, and like I said, make sure that the back side's not getting glued to this side. And you just like do this. I'll probably just use like a pencil or something to make sure that the pocket stays where it's supposed to. Like this. It needs more glue. Of course it does, because I thought I had enough and I don't. And you just like run the glue along just the edges, and I like to put some on this edge as well. Haha. Bum bum. Isn't that fun? And then, now I could leave it like this, or you could even line this like with some really pretty paper if you're making like real envelopes, but we're not going that crazy today. I'm gonna glue the back of this to the journal itself. I thought about using like a crayon. Actually, I probably will. I'll have to pause this for me to go get one. Like, how cute is that? Why am I talking in a baby voice? I don't know. And then you leave the flap like that. And you could even like really, because sometimes you just like bone fold it. They call them bone folders. They're made out of bone, and you just like really make that seam stick. And you know what? This paper is too matchy for me. Like, it kind of would blend in. So I'm going to use the rest of this book to make the little card. Oops. And like I said, this was going to be for the shadow. Let's see if it fits. Ooh, I like that. And then you just cut it where it would fit in like a card, like a postcard almost. Or you could fold it. I don't know why this has turned into like a coaching on how to do these sort of things, but I feel like someone would appreciate it. So the shadow, I'm gonna have to write small for this. Ooh. What color would the shadow of the sage be? I feel like this color wouldn't show up. What I'm gonna write down is, oh, that color does show up very little. Why do I like the color green for the sage? Maybe it's because of the herb sage. Maybe. Always seeking details. Never. Oh. Acting. And see, that looks too over here, so I'm just gonna cut it a little bit more. Just tuck that in. Cool. Now, I'm gonna write like this would be an address of something. Actually, no, I'll have to write it up here because I'm gonna do something to this. Let's use red, like this is a letter. Shadows, or should I write it right here? I'll write it right here. That way, if I have more to do over here, I'll have some room. Shadow. There. Now it's kind of hidden like the shadow really would be. And that makes it cute. Like the whole thing looks cute to me. A trick that I have learned over the years, because I love to, and if you've ever gotten a letter from me, you know, but I like to put wax on my envelopes and like with a stamp. Actually, I'm gonna have to use something else. I guess I'll use this because it really won't matter. This paper is just extra. And I've learned that when I'm out of like actual melting wax, like letter wax, which is an actual wax that you can use to burn to accumulate wax to use in a seal, you can always use a crayon. Because when you burn a crayon, it melts like regular wax, but it doesn't actually change the characteristic of the crayon itself, so you can still color with it afterwards, which is always nice, right? You just have to aim it right. Oh, there we go. Then you just like make sure that's dry a little bit, set it down on some paper. Now one thing, you want a little bit of this wax like it was a letter and it's been torn open with a letter opener down on the other side, but not together. That way it's not actually stuck like that. And I'm not using a seal or anything, it just makes it look like one of the letters I would send out to someone. Like, how cute is that? And that's a shadow. And the crayon still colors. It's like one of my favorite crayon colors is this scarlet. It's almost like a scarlet persimmon color. Love it. Make sure that's dry before you go handling some other bits and bobs. Okay, I think with another one of these papers, I will use this white paper as well as like the backdrop. I'm gonna make a book. I think it's gonna be like this big. That would be good. Now books don't come like that. They have a spine. The good ones do. So you make a spine. Then cut this at the point. Now your book has a spine. Actually, that's not correct. I don't know what I'm talking about. There. Now it's like an actual book. Now I can use these pages, or this page, to make this look like the paper that's actually in this book. Because like I said, I really did want to have like the aesthetic on for the Sage to be very library-like. I'll have to do a little bit more. Straighten out the edges and such. There. Let's see what that looks like. It's very nice. I'll have to fold it along the same lines as the spine just for effect. Maybe I'll mark that with a marker or something. So first I have to glue these two together. Get out the handy dandy Mod Podge again. And on here I thought I'd write the fear. Like again, the fear is hidden in the pages of a book. So that's pretty cool. Now I could even just glue the spine down like a butterfly kind of a thing. But for some reason, I feel like the more I open and close the book, it's just gonna flatten itself out anyway. But I could just do it right now for effect. And we'll see how it gets on. Looks okay, I guess. Now I am going to write kind of small for this particular thing just because I want it to fit inside this book. And I am going to like mark that out like that. You know what would have been really cool? You know what? I'm just going to do it anyway. Make a little, because I really do want this to look like a book inside this thing. Just do like that. A little bit of glue on the top here. How cute does that look? I mean, I know it's not in the middle, but I don't even care. It's just so cute. All right, fear. I was gonna write small, but to be honest, there's only a few words, so. Being deceived. Now, I think that that is being like somehow misled by facts or finding out something that they think is a fact or truth and then it ends up not being the truth. I think that that would be the ultimate fear of the Sage. And it makes sense. I mean, if their whole motto and goal in life is to go and find the truth, and then when they think they found the truth and it's not the truth, that would be devastating. So, I think that that would be... it would just be like the ultimate end to this archetype. It's getting deceived somehow. Maybe even getting like, maybe there's a betrayal aspect to that. Maybe there's like someone told them what they thought the truth was and they even had facts and blah, blah, blah to back that up. And then the Sage ends up finding out that that's not the truth. I think that that would be devastating to this particular archetype. I want to write this too because I think that there's a modern take with this. Must be conscious of misinformation. There. Isn't that so cute? I just love the look of that little book right here in this other book. Now, one thing I didn't write And I'll probably do right here. I don't know if I want to keep using the same paper. Maybe I'll use white and make it like a to-do list. Like all paper this time. Measure it out so it fits. Yeah, it looks good. So one thing I didn't write here, let's pick another color. Let's do blue. Like it's really like you're really writing it down with a pen. Would be goals. I could write this down like this is like an actual, I like how I use graph paper. I mean, I wanted to use like this like all types of paper. Let's do this over here. That way I'm not getting any red lines anywhere. Here. Uh-oh. I'm just going really fast with this. I really don't care if they're lined up, symmetrical, the same length. I don't really care. Here, look how cute. And see, I don't even care if I messed up. It's not the point, is to be perfect with this journal. Let's glue this down, because this paper actually is thick enough to where I could glue it first without having to write the damn stuff down. Because, you know, depending on the paper, you have to write it down first or else it'll rip the paper to write after you've glued it down. That is so cute, you guys. I don't know why I'm so excited about this particular archetype. Maybe it's just that I love paper. I'm a paper fanatic. So maybe it's the fact that I'm like looking at all these little things of paper that just makes me want to get all my stationery out after this. So their goal is to use intelligence and analysis to understand their world. Seek out facts. Find truths. Let's put some little there. Now it looks like a to-do list. Use my intelligence. Analyze the world. Seek out facts. Find the truth. It sounds like a stringent list. However, we're going to go with it. All right. Now for this side is the quote, which I will have to use this white paper. Actually, I could use this paper finally, because I really don't like to have scraps laying around. I actually like how this is. Just have to like make it a little bit skinnier. How cute is that? The thinker is thinking, because that's his job. It's just like what he's doing. Let's move this out of the way. Now I think down here I wanted to write the characteristics of this archetype. And like I said, I'll do the quote last because I always do. I think what I want to do is do some more of these like type of paper things, like but bullet point style, you know. I think the an interesting thing about the Sage is their ability to give it, like within literature and cinema and things like that, whenever we've seen the archetype played out, it's so fascinating to see the Sage archetype as someone that is very knowledge driven, factual driven, things like that. But they have this like weird power, this weird ability to give advice, but also within the same type of, in their own special way, make the hero of the story choose their own path. So I think that there's an emphasis with the Sage that's like, okay, I do know, but I'm not going to tell you what I know, because you have to be able to make those decisions yourself. Because I think, like me, Lennon, I think that we have to make our choices. And if we had someone, even buried in our subconscious, that thought they knew everything, or even did, we would constantly be going down there for guidance, for the answers. Like, give me the answer, give me the answer, give me the answer, instead of finding it out for ourselves. And I think that when we are driven to go and find things out, it's coming straight from the Sage. But it's not like they're giving us the answer, otherwise we would know everything. So there's something in seeking information that it's up to us to embody this archetype so that we can make better choices. And there is a seek factor, like we must go seek it out so that we can have enough knowledge to make the decision, and thus illuminating our path to individuation, according to Jung. So I think that is like a special gift that the Sage has. I think I'll write that down on one of these. The ability to give advice while also letting the hero choose. I think that's important. I think that's very important, is we have to know that we've made the right decision for us. And the only way to know that is to embody this archetype and go seek out the truth that lies there for us to find. Not to just gain the answers, you know? It's like, no, you have to do it the right way. You can't cheat. Oh, I can't hardly hold these. Find scientific based. Put basings. Along with finding the truth in facts, it's a lot of times backed up with science, scientific facts and things like that. And I think that that's important too, is like, especially when we explore the magician is the next archetype. I think that magic and science go hand in hand. I think very much that the Sage and the magician are partners in that. And I think that all of what we don't know is misconstrued as magic. But really, it's just science that we haven't learned yet. So, and I don't know who said that. Somebody said that. It's like a quote, but I don't know who said it. Analyzing situations. Because I can't have that uneven, I'll have to cut that off. I think I'm going to draw something in the middle here for another characteristic. And I put that over here, but it doesn't matter. These are like actual characteristics, and I kind of want to stick to that. Another ability that they have is understanding thought processes. So it's almost like within the seeking, finding thing, they understand how the mind is able to absorb all of that. And it's a process. And I think that they have a lot of respect for that, and they have a lot of know-how as to how that's going to play out. I think that that's another ability that the sage possesses. And for here, I wanted to write like a little scroll. Make smart decisions. Very nice. All right. Now I'm very excited to share the quote that I used for this archetype. Usually I go with like very famous people and things like that. And I very much did that with this as well. I think I'm going to use green again because I do love it. And it is the beginning. Love these felt pens. Of knowledge. Is the discovery of something we do not understand. Frank Herbert. He's a fabulous author of the Dune series. Very futuristic. I feel like if he was a character from one of his books, then he would be this archetype. I feel like that. I view him as a very wise soul. There. Oh, look how cute this looks. Very nice. Okay. I hope that you enjoyed this. Remember that I leave all my resources that I used for compiling like all the information that I use specifically for these art journals below in the resource section. Meditate on the sage and let me know your findings and let me know your thoughts, and come back next new moon for another archetype. Much love.